Yo, what's going on, guys? Ron here, aka Neos, and today, guys, we are talking about this is going to be episode 2 of the video that I did prior. So we talked about our little guy's brother here, Fuolos, where I showcase like when you're playing Elfnote how to play through it basically and give your opponent like minimum draws while maximizing the value that you get from your cards and the board that you can make. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about Purulia. Like I said, the little brother here that we got first. And don't mind the chibi Black Rose here, guys. I literally just think this card is just like super cute. So I have it sitting out here because, like I said, I think it's kind of adorable. Makes me want to play it because like this card is just like super nice. It looks like a flower as well, which obviously ties in with the the whole rose theme. So, but anyways, guys, we're just gonna go ahead and move on here to the deck and obviously the way to play through this specific Molcharmi. So, the one that we're going to be talking about specifically here is going to be using Lucinia, right? So this is going to be the worst case and scenario here, which is, obviously kind of unfortunate. We're just going to like put some cards in our hand here. We'll put like this, 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 and this. Sure. No other names, just Lucina. We've got like a couple hand traps here. Just using this to fill the hand. And then we will do like one random test hand into this afterwards. But I want to show y'all basically the worst line, the best possible line, and then like I said, the random test hand here. So here, obviously, our opponent is going to have the 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in their hand. We'll go ahead and move the chibi out of the way, even though it is adorable. And then like I said, they resolved Purulia, and then they will have their cards in hand. So we get Purulia here. We're going to go draw standby main. Standby, they probably hit us with this. There's no reason to hold it for after then. So this is going to be the first draw that our opponent gets. We're going to go effect to search. This is going to grab us the Power Patron, and then its normal summon will be the second card that our opponent draws here. So, like I said, this is like worst case in scenario here, unfortunately, but it's fine. Here we'll go effect target, increase Lucina's level by 3, and then we'll go ahead and synchro. This is going to give us access to the Lev, and then we all know where this is going, so we're going to go ahead and trigger Patron here. This is going to actually get us access to Tinia, right? No surprise there. But here we'll go ahead and add this to hand, so we've effectively, kept our advantage, and then let's go ahead and surmount on that with a Fiendsmith combo. So here, this is obviously not going to give our opponent any draws. If by this point, let's say like you make you get to like the normal summon here and you go affect target and they Fuolos you, you probably just you can either make this if they wait for you to make the level higher, or if they on summon, like they draw a card and then you go anything on the summon. Because like I've mentioned before, always pass priority on your opponent before you activate its effect to target and synchro to level modulate, because you don't know if your opponent might trigger something. If they don't trigger anything and they wait for it, like I said, then you just have to make this. But if they do go ahead and go, yeah, I activate Fulos, just make Seraph from here, give them another draw, search, and then you just get Fortunia, because you're just going to give them too many draws. So, but anyways, enough of that rambling here. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and redo the Fiendsmith stuff, giving us access to being able to send Engraver by specialing the Lacrima. Here, go Lacrima, sending the Engraver. We'll go Requiem effect here to equip itself, obviously, and then we'll go ahead and make the Necroquip here, and then we'll obviously go and use the effect of Engraver. We'll go ahead and we can put back the Lev. We'll put back Lev. It's best case scenario. You want to leave Lacrima and the Wreck Engrave. So that's your follow-up. And then here, obviously, if your opponent nibs you, that's so be it. Just make Link Spider. If not, then we can go ahead and continue here. And then if you notice, right, so we've given our opponent 2 draws, right? They originally had 4 cards. We gave them 2. Through this line, we were actually able to put up 2 negates, right? This is not once per turn. This card can be traded 1 for 1, right? If they have like Fallen the Virtuous or something like that. But the key point is that we've given them 2 draws and we've equaled their draws with interruptions, including this follow-up. This is technically an interruption, so we've actually surpassed their draws in interruptions here, which is important to note. We're going to go ahead, we'll give our opponent another draw, unfortunately, but yes, we will. We will special Tinea here, and then we can go Tinea effect to place. And then we will go ahead and we can place the spell card. If you're worried about your opponent Fuulosing you on this summon, right, for the summon of this, which you can choose to do instead, since you already have access to Patron. If you have an extra monster, you can instead grab Fortunia instead, right? So like that would be like the safer line. Assuming like if you're scared that, because like this, like I said, your opponent's drawn 3 already, right? Let's say they're playing 40 cards. They had 35 cards in their deck, 35, 34, 33, 32. Like the chance of them drawing Fua is like it's not 0, right? It's a pretty good chance. They gotten to draw 3 cards. So if you, like I said, if you want to play safer, you can, I'll go ahead and I'll just showcase it. You can Fortunia for the trap, right? Because this is going to be that draw. And then here you go ahead and you can go effect, send like anything from your hand unless it's Ash Blossom. So like we'll do Mansion for Bell. Here you can Synchro, do this. Just keep in mind that you're not going to get access to the hand rip here or the spell card, which isn't terrible. Like you can just like wait. This obviously will give you access to like Seraph, and then Seraph can give you access to like summoning back this, and then you can like Crystal Wing if you want, and then save the Rhapsodia for like if they just go to like out Caesar immediately with like Fallen the Virtuous, you can just reborn the Seraph, or you know however you want to do it. Right, this is an option. If you want to instead, you can just bring out the Lucina for a regular interruption. Like there's just plenty of options, right? There's just plenty of options for you. So I will go back though, because like I said, I believe that it's best case in scenario that you get access to Tinea, because you want to get access to the spell card and you want to get access to all the names, which is in my opinion the most important. So because each name is an interruption. Obviously Fortunia's is the weakest. Actually, let me be clearer on that. She's not the weakest. She is the least prominent. There are definitely continuous spells and traps that you can bounce with this. Field spells, Case for Canine, for example. The For Hire field spell, which actually today at locals I bounced the field spell when it went to search. So, you know, like she gets valued. She just gets it less often because of certain decks. But like I said, so we have this here, and then here, keep in mind, like I said, we'd have like the extra monster that we didn't use yet. Preferably here, you would want to send a monster from hand and leave the Tinea on field, if you can, right? Because otherwise you're just gonna like lose out on being able to like make Seraph basically, and you really want to be able to do that. So you kind of need a monster in hand here, and like I said, this is gonna give you access to the Fortunia, which I put back in the deck somewhere. Pretty sure I did. Yeah. So let me just grab her out real quick. There she is. Boom. And then you, like I said, then this is where you place the Madness. And then now you can just freely Synchro and not give your opponent any more draws off of the Purulia. And then you go Reborn here, and then like I said, this is where you get option to like you can make Crystal again, you can make for example You can just bring this back, or here, in my opinion, you just bring back the Fortuna or the Tinia, and then you just keep this. And then keep in mind, you still have 3 cards in hand at this point. So like I said, it's not like an unbeatable board, but it's basically full combo under Purulia. You basically just full combo. Um, yeah, basically. um, this board is really hard to crack. If you had like an extra name in hand, especially one that you could send, it's better because then you can make Dragster usually. So like if I had like Tinia and Lucina, or like Lucinia plus Power Patron, or even like Fortunia, like any other name paired with itself, or paired with like another name, is just, like I said, full combo basically under it. You give your opponent 3 draws. This is like they'll have 8 cards to play into your board. You've got technically 7 because you're gonna hand rip them for one of them. You have the negate. You have the protection. You have these 2 as well. You'll be able to get to both of the names as well, Fortunia and to Lucinia, through Seraph plus this. And yeah, and like I said, if you have 3 hand traps in hand, this board has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 interruptions. If you can use both of these, like this does come up sometimes. Like I said, it depends. So that's, like I said, that's 8 interruptions, and that's 8 cards in your opponent's hand. So like I said, it's pretty good. And that's why like Purulia is like the one that doesn't hurt super bad into this deck. But yeah, but anyways guys, that's it for that, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the second combo, which actually plays through Purulia way better than this combo does. Alright guys, as you can see here, we've gone ahead and reset. We've got the 4 cards, we've been Purulia, and then guys, you already know, I'm sure y'all probably could have predicted this, but this is obviously the one that plays through Purulia the best. A lot of the time you see this, like if you should be playing 3 of this in your deck. If you had to choose between 3 of this and 3 Medius, and you were like, oh, I should play 2 of one of these cards, just play 2 Medius because this just says Medius. Obviously, you do need a monster in hand for this combo at like some point, like, or just something, right? Even if it's like a Molcharmy, you just need, this is technically a 1.5 card combo because, like I said, you need a monster. But there are so many monsters in your deck that this should always be paired with a monster. There's literally like 25 cards in the deck at least that are monsters. So yeah, this should always be paired with something. So here we're gonna go Theo, send Medius for cost. Look at our opponent's top deck. Oh, that's cool. Put it on the top. That's fine. And then we'll go Medius effect here. We'll just put the Ash Blossom back because obviously we would have ashed the Purulia. Here we'll summon, we'll go effect. This is obviously going to get us access to the Power Patron. We'll summon it. We don't need to summon it in the center since we're going to be Fiendsmith comboing here. We can synchro here. Go ahead and we can make the Armadas, and we'll go the effect of Patron. And so far, guys, we've threatened a search and a synchro and like full Fiendsmith combo without giving them a draw yet, which is obviously really nice. Keep in mind, if like let's say your opponent stops you here, you have a way to summon from hand. Like you can just normal summon a hand trap, give them a draw, and then Theo realize and full Fiendsmith combo anyways. So keep that in mind. You can give them 1 draw and re-threaten Fiendsmith combo with a simple normal summon, assuming you didn't have a name. So here we obviously go ahead. We do the same thing that we did before for the Fiendsmith combo because Fiendsmith combo is really good. So here we'll go ahead, special Lacrima sends Engraver. We will go Requiem equips, contact. Go ahead and make Necro again. We go ahead and we shuffle the Armades for our Engraver. That way we can make the DDD. And yeah, so like I said, full combo basically. And our opponent has not gotten a single draw yet. However, that is going to change once we special the Tinia, right? So this will be the first draw our opponent gets. That's fine. Here we'll go ahead, Tinia effect to place. And then this is going to place us our continuous spell card. So we'll place this. For this combo line, you actually don't need to sack the monsters out of hand for this yet. You can sack the Tinia instead off of the Welcome Home. So that's pretty important here, because now you can go this for Lucina, and then you can go Lucinia to search. This will grab you out the Fortunia. Fortunia will be specialed, which will give your opponent the second draw. You can go here to place the Madness. And then here, if you do have an extra monster in hand that's not worth anything, for example, your Molcharmies or whatever, I would recommend using that instead. We're going to assume since like we already had to start with it, we're not going to. Here we're going to go Madness, Madness Send. It has to be the Fortunia because you need to be able to reborn the Patron. Because otherwise, like, if you send this, then you're just going to, like, special back, like, Tinia, and then your combo's dead. So keep that in mind. Here, we'll go ahead and synchro these two, making our Seraphim, bring back the Tinia, and this should look very familiar because it is basically the exact same board that we made. Again, we have 3 cards in hand, as same as before. Like I said, but here we only gave our opponent, like I said, the 2 draws here, which is the most important part. So, like I said, if you had a Molcharmy in hand, you can go ahead and sack it instead of the Fortunia. That way you can get, you'd be able to get access to both of these again, and then this is where you could make Dragster. But like I said, that's like technically not a 1.5 card combo like I mentioned was before. So like I said, we're ignoring that. And let's say like we want to keep the hand traps in our hand anyways. These are all, you know, obviously pretty good. So, but that's it, guys. As you can see here, our opponent's going to draw for turn. So they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1 interruption, 2 interruption, 3, 4. Let's say we have 1 hand trap. That's 5. And then we've got 6 in this, 7 for this, and then we have the ability for follow up or like just to like block on the board, which is 8. Technically, this is an interruption by modulating levels, depending on the deck. So this is 9. So yeah, we have basically equal amount of interruptions for the stuff that our opponent has, which should basically surmount to us winning the game. Especially, you know, considering that one of our stuff is just rip a random card out of your hand. So that's it for this, guys. This is it for the 2 like staged combos that I wanted to show y'all. Let's go ahead and move on to the random test hand that I wanted to show y'all, because that's where I think that hopefully the deck will really shine. Alright, guys, well, I sit here and I shuffle the deck. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys. Apparently, like 85% of y'all aren't subscribed. Why is that? Do y'all hate me? I hope not. I try to give y'all some really good content. So if y'all have not subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. We just passed 100 subscribers, and for us to keep going, you know, a couple more people need to subscribe. So it really does, like I said, help me out, boosts my my confidence, encourages me to make more videos for y'all. So, you know, help me help you. So, anyways, guys, let's go ahead. We draw 5 cards here. Let's see what we get. So our first card is going to be Engraver. Well, that's pretty good. Second card is Lurry. That's not as good. Then we have a Tinia, another Tinia, and a Etherealize. So this hand is just like super busted into Purulia, but I'm going to go ahead and showcase it. So we're going to start with Engraver. Engraver is going to grab us the Tract here. We're going to go Tract. Tract's going to get us another Engraver. And then we're going to go ahead and discard the Lurry. This actually isn't bad. Like I said, mentioned before, we play multiple Tract now. So this is 100% fine. We'll go mandatory Lurry effect here. Summon itself. We'll go Link for 1 for Requiem. This will get us access to our Lacrima, and then we will be able to Lacrima and send our final Engraver to the graveyard. This is another reason to play 3 Engravers. Like sometimes like opening like 2 of the Light Fiends together, especially when it's like engraver plus anything else, including himself. You can just dump something and resolve Lacrima and get value off of all of your cards. So here we'll go ahead, Requiem equip, contact, Necro. Here we'll go ahead and engraver, put back the Lurie to make our not only our engraver but our next tract also live, which is super important. We'll threaten nib here. If we get nibbed, so be it. We don't really care. And then we'll go ahead and make Caesar. So, yep. Haven't given our opponent a single draw yet, which is actually, pretty good. And then this is where we're going to go and Theo here. This is actually going to be good for us because we're going to be able to stack our opponent's deck. Being able to look at it, seeing, if it's a board breaker or whatever, maybe an engine piece, and then choosing how we want to continue from here. Now that we, also considering that we have 2 Tinea in our hand, this is actually not that bad considering we have Theo Realize, because now here we can go Medius Effect to summon himself. We can put back the extra Tinea, pretty self-explanatory, triggering his effect. This is going to give us access to our Power Patron. Go ahead and find out this. And then this one we actually do want on the center because we're going to need him to level modulate himself using his effect. That way we can synchro. And then this will get us access to our Psyframe Omega Lord Gamma. What is this actual name? Psyframe Lord Omega. So here this will trigger the effect of Patron. This you can actually go ahead. You can either grab out Fortunia, or you could just grab out, like, for example, like Lucinia, which is also fine. Since we already have Tinea, it's, pretty worth to just grab a different name in case you need it. You could just grab another Tinea back. That way your opponent might be like, oh, maybe he has a different name, and he just wanted to, like, loop the same one, because she's, like, the best one that you can send for fodder because she doesn't do anything else. She's a searcher. The Fortunia is obviously the one that gets you, like, the trap over and over again, assuming you can put it back in the deck, which we should be able to do since we already have Omega. So if they remove this, and then we can go ahead and link Omega off next turn, and, etc. from there. But anyways, here we'll go ahead and Tinea. Tinea is going to get us the spell, and then here we can go spell, send, get us access to the Lucinia anyways. And then here, to be honest, guys, I actually do think that grabbing double Tinea here is actually okay. Might be better. It's okay. We'll leave it in hand because this is how we chose to do it. Here we'll go effect to search. We'll get this. This we can go ahead and special. And then here we can go ahead and go effect to place. This will place us, obviously, our continuous trap card from the deck. And then here we can go Madness, send this to get our Synchro. This line, I think, is just overall better because it's just going to double hand loop our opponent better anyways. And then we get to keep, like, 2 starters for next turn. So we'll do this. We'll Synchro, make our Seraphim, and then this is where we can make, or you can use Seraph to bring back the Tinea. So we could have instead grabbed another Tinea here. That way we could have sent it off of the Rhapsodia to special the Patron back, and then instead of making this, and then having Tinea, we could have had this and Omega and Dragster. But I think this is still okay. Like I said, this is just 2 pieces of follow-up in our hand. We still have another Patron in deck to search if we need it. Also, speaking of Patron, Medius is banished here. So let's say worst case in scenario. Oh, obviously, our opponent did get the draw off of the specialing of the Tinea and the special off of Fortunia. So my bad for forgetting that, obviously. So yeah, we did give our opponent 2 draws here, I believe, if I remember correctly, because let's see, we specialed this, yep, and then we got to search, and then we specialed. So my apologies for forgetting that, but I did put that back there. And like I said, this is our end board here. So 2 draws, full combo. Our opponent's going to have 7 cards once they draw for turn. The really good thing about ending on Omega plus Tinea is your flexibility here, especially since we got to use Theorealize and banish the Medius. So let's say your opponent goes draw phase, right? And I'm like, yep, draw phase is fine. And then say they go, okay, move to standby. I'm like, well, actually, in your draw phase, you go Tinia. This gives you the option to, banish obviously a random card out of your opponent's hand. We'll just say it's this one, banished, right? So let's say like whatever this card is, let's say we don't care if they get it back, right? Let's say like them getting it back at their end phase doesn't matter, right? Like it's like a not a hand trap or anything, but let's say like it's like a trap card. And I'm like, oh yeah, you can have that back. You're not going to be able to set it. What you can do instead is when your opponent moves to standby, you'd be like, do you have any triggers? And they go yes or no, probably no. You go effect, put Medius back, right? Which means like I said, yes, they are going to get this card back, but if it's like a normal spell or a normal trap or a counter trap or a brick that like didn't matter, like it just being gone for the turn is going to do the damage that you need it to. Them getting the card back doesn't matter anymore because it's not going to give them any value, right? And then here, obviously, standby main. If once your opponent activates a card or effect, you can go Omega, banish another card out of their hand, and then like at this point, your opponent just has a 5-card hand into your stuff, right? So you gave them 2 draws, but you ripped 2 cards from their hand, so you didn't give them any draws technically. So I'm actually really glad I got to showcase this specific one, which keep in mind this was basically just Engraver plus Theo is basically this this combo plus a monster, plus any random monster. So keep this in mind. Having the extra name didn't matter, as you saw, because I just kept the extra name in hand. Like this could have been hand traps instead, right? So we kept these 2 in hand. Obviously this was searched, so this could have been like Engraver itself. So, but this card here, like I said, it's really just fine, because like I said, like we had full board, we have follow up. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I really do hope that y'all enjoyed. I really hope they gave y'all some insight into the deck and everything else like that, and how strong, like I said, this deck is, especially through one of any of the Mulcharmies. The next video I'm probably going to do is going to be over like Joel and Lockbird. And yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that one. So that's going to be it. Like I said before, if y'all could like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. It really does help me out, and I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Peace.